We have some breaking news. Dante Moore will be headed back to Oregon.
Wow.
For another year. This is obviously a decision after watching this season and how this season ended. At 20 years of age, I think only like 21 games through his college football career. I think a lot of people thought would make sense if he was to go get more ball under his belt, especially with the amount of money that you can make in the current NIL world. Now, he was projected to potentially be the number 2 overall pick. So there isn't much higher that you can go in the draft other than the number 1 overall pick for if he stays for another season. But we all understand that if you're good at football in the NFL and great when you get there, your second and third contracts are going to be gigantic as opposed to just moving up from number 2 to number 1. And maybe he does jump to the number 1 overall pick with another season. Dylan Raiola transferred into Oregon. We assume that he will be a backup and has agreed to be a backup. I think that was reported whenever he decided to transfer over to Oregon. So Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks get their quarterback back, A.J. Hawk. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think good for him. I'm glad Oregon, I would assume, is very, very happy about this. Dante Moore he can play. I mean, I love how dynamic he is, how the arm strength. And we talked about after that first play, pick 6 to start the game. He came back the next drive and showed a lot of it's tough to pull the trigger, I think, once you do that first play of the game. So I give him a lot of credit.
AJ, you were number 5 overall, right, pick?
Yeah.
Jage, when were you selected? They booed, obviously, but what was it?
11.
You were 11 overall? Whenever you're getting that read back, both of you guys, I guess I would ask JJ, you could start, hey, this is what you're going to get picked. It's basically locked in. Dante's probably going number 2. That you'd be the second quarterback guy. Quarterbacks normally lead the way. Now, granted, it could go differently if somebody saw something in Indiana and get whatever. You get it, but it was projected very high draft pick. To go back to college now, different than back in the day, it feels like, right? Doesn't it?
Yeah, and I do believe, like you were talking about, from going from 2 to 1, that's minuscule in the grand scheme of things when it comes to the ability to get to his second contract and pushing it a year down the road. And NIL has changed everything. It's not, yes, there's still absolutely the love of the game and wanting to finish unfinished business and all of that. But more than ever, this is all a business now. And getting to that second contract a year earlier, in my personal opinion, when you're that high. Now, it's for me personally, they told me you're a projected first/second rounder, but the guy was like, I would say closer to the first round. And then I kind of, from there, decided, I'm going to crush the combine and I'm going to crush my interviews and get myself up there. But, if you're projected to be the number 2 overall pick, let's get this train rolling, unless you really don't like the team that's drafting up there, unless there's some reason where you don't like the way things are shaking out for this year, but get that train rolling, buddy.
So Jage's take is the faster you get to the NFL, the faster we get to that second overall or second contract and that third contract, which is where the $50 million a year, 45, 60 million probably a year whenever they get to that point.
75 for
real. That is
very different conversation for a projected 4th or 5th round pick quarterback who could also make $6-7 million in college. Very different conversation.
Definitely. But did you leave early, Jage?
Yes.
This guy's a dog, dude.
Smart man.
Age, you didn't leave early, right? You played 4 bowl games, if I recall.
Yeah, I played all 4. Yeah.
Jade said, first, second round, have they seen me jump? This is 80% luck, 20% skill, 15%, and then you jumped over.
A, it's your dream. B, the body's only got so many years in it, man. You've got to take advantage.
He's 20. He's very young. Now, granted, which would mean you'd be so young getting to a second contract. But what we've seen over the past, it feels like, guys who have more ball experience in college have seemingly had better transitions into the NFL, which is maybe the most important thing of this entire conversation.
Yeah, we have seen that as of late. Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix come in with a ton of reps under their belt, played in different systems, different coaches. They come in and have that success. But I'm kind of with JJ. If you're at the top of the draft, you have an opportunity. Obviously, you can go back to Oregon and do your thing there, but we've seen quarterbacks, even like a Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield, get figured out maybe on their second or third team. So get in the NFL, develop there, make your money there, and then hopefully at some point, if you're good enough and you believe in yourself and your work ethic, you'll get it done. But yeah, it's not much higher you can go in the draft. Go and get that money.
Now, granted, we are in an era where Trey Lance's name will get brought up. Obviously didn't get to play a lot of football because of COVID and everything like that. Anthony Richardson didn't get to play a lot of ball. Who knows what his contract goes to? And I'm not saying Dante Moore hasn't played more ball than those guys. He certainly has. But it feels like the reps show up now. And maybe this Oregon run will help him. But Yeah, number 2 overall was. Dahn, what is the thought? Did we think he was coming back? I think immediately after the game, I thought he was coming back just strictly because of emotions. Like, that can't be how this year ends and everything like that. But then as you kind of drift away from it, you wonder how many business people are getting into the conversation. So for him to return, it does feel like he's completely bought into Coach Lanning and what Oregon can do. I guess we should have expected that.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was going to do, and I was in the camp of the, play more football. So, and I get that you get to the second contract, but put yourself in a better chance to play better football to get to the second contract once you go to the NFL, because we have seen recently how awesome it's been for guys that have been there for a while. And, I mean, I have no idea how much money Oregon is shelling out for Dante Moore, and also to get Raiola to agree to be a backup. That's got to be insane. But when I saw their top 4 defensive linemen, who were all supposed to go to the NFL draft, all decided to stay, it kind of, in my mind, was like, oh, maybe this is a team thing. This is hey, we just got embarrassed. Hey, we're coming back for one more year to do this the right way, kind of like Ohio State did 2 years ago, or last year, excuse me. So I thought there was a decent chance that he would end up staying, but then the Raiola thing kind of threw a curveball. But I'm not completely shocked.
This may be a slightly cynical outlook, but it's just reality from having seen situations happen to guys in my life. Whether it was a guy in a contract year where something happens and he doesn't end up getting the contract he should, like, you have to also weigh the risk and reward of the situation and what you can possibly lose in addition to what you could possibly gain. And I've seen so many times a guy going into a contract year where he's set up for the biggest extension possible, and then all of a sudden, it might even be in the playoff game, the last game of the season, he gets hurt, and now all of a sudden he's not getting the extension he thought he was. And as a player, I know that, like, everything about it sounds right. This is awesome. You're going back to school. This is awesome. He wants to finish unfinished business. All this is great. But, like, sometimes people need to also talk to the individual about the realities.
Jay, you're saying, yeah, Mighty Ducks is cool. Okay, we're all going to the same academy. Yeah, okay, this is all really cool. But there's a chance that movie ends bad. And it doesn't work out whenever you come back. And then also, what else happened? Well, projections are a little bit different because the quarterback class next year, loaded. I mean, absolutely loaded. So if you continue to think about the second contract, though, with how loaded the next quarterback class is, maybe he propels himself up to number 1, but also maybe he gets on a team that isn't completely ass. I mean, there is certainly some positives that can come from all this if he remains healthy and if he continues to develop.
I mean, it just happened with Penn State. Drew Aller was number 1 overall pick, and they were going to have 2 other dudes go from that D-line, and their running backs were going to go, and their entire season exploded after playing Oregon. So you can make that argument. But also on the other side of it, you can look at, Ty Simpson, guy going to play on Monday, Carson Beck, like, well, holy shit. All of a sudden, we might be the number 2 overall pick. Like, that's a great opportunity now for those other guys. The Dante Moore thing, like, cool, hopefully it works out. Who knows? I mean, can't go much.
We hope it works.
I hope it works out, genuinely do.
Definitely.
And then for those other guys, too, it's a great opportunity. And you wonder now what, like, the Jets are thinking, who were at 2, who everyone was like, well, they're just going to take Dante Moore. Like, you wonder what the repercussions now with the NFL, the big league, it really will be now.
What Tone's been saying for the last couple of days, there's only 1 quarterback coming out of this draft class. How do you know, Tone? Did you have Shuck being a guy?
Kuiper had more at 1.
Yeah, Kuiper did have more at 1. That popped up on the screen. As I was saying, literally, I had to look like the biggest asshole of all time. Fernando Mendoza is generational. I'm going to say, and then they pop up on the lower third. Mel Kiper Jr.'s projected draft. Number 1, Dante Moore Jr. Number 2, Fernando Mendoza. I'm like, all right, Mel Kiper. Didn't know I got drafted to punt on the day I got drafted.
Yeah, his Shador thing.
My draft celebration with my family as he's burying me in the background. Okay, obviously, that's great. Thank you, Mel Kiper Jr., for doing that to me. But a man who loves ball, so we will certainly stick with it. But I was so confused on what he was seeing versus what I was seeing in Fernando Mendoza being 6'5", 230. And then, like, watching him just be methodical on this offense. And then they talk about his work ethic and how he's able to do things. And then he's having beers with the boys, which I don't know if Mel Kiper Jr. is holding as high regard as I hold it, especially when people are calling him AI. D-Butt asked him a question. He gave an answer, and D-Butt said that's what an AI would say. D-Butt thinks he's a robot.
He gave an AI answer. He did. I don't mind a robotic quarterback. You definitely got to be human, but I had questions. He answered them. We'll see.
Well, he has beers, too. I don't know if these computers can drink beers yet. Once they can,
Legend.
We do got to start worrying about it.
Legend.
The odds currently at DraftKings have Fernando Mendoza at -8,000. Trinidad Chambliss at +3,000. I like that Winnedad's getting a look, though. After we saw him live, he was cool, man. He's throwing to spots, too. He can't see shit. So he's not going to be able to see in the NFL. Obviously, that's going to be talked about a lot with Trinidad. But whenever he was playing, the game we were watching against Miami's defense, very big, very physical, he was throwing to spots already. So, like, that's an NFL throw. He's going to have, Brock Purdy has to do that because he's small. Drew Brees had to do that. Kyler Murray is going to have to continue to get better at that. Like, that is what undersized guys have to kind of prove. He proved that to us, I think, against Miami.
Yeah, I was very impressed with his just control of the game, understanding coverages, understanding what spots to throw to, kind of the timing, when to throw to him. You saw a lot of those throws. He was throwing the ball before his receivers were even out of their break, and how live his arm was. I didn't know, his arm had that type of juice, and it's much different when you are on the field and you can see it in real time. And then the high-pressure moments, I feel like that's when he played his best football. And I know he's still going through, the court situation in Mississippi trying to get that extra year. But if he were to come out and be like a mid-round pick, I can see this guy being a guy in the NFL.
I don't know if he's going to be a mid-round with the way this year is with quarterbacks. I think I don't know, next year's draft class quarterback loaded with names.
Yeah.
Who knows if they'll end up being actual players.
So many teams right now need quarterbacks, and there's 9 open jobs. A few of those teams need quarterbacks. You would assume a coach might like a guy, hey, if he's there, we'll take him.
Dano said Perk Cousins, and then he said Kirk Cousins. Is he going to get cut, is what he said?
Allegedly.
I think so.
Which makes no sense because he also said if Kirk Cousins would have started every game, the Falcons would have won 11 games and won the division. So why would you cut that guy?
So he's speaking from Kirk's side, saying they're about to cut a guy that if they would have just let play this last year, he would have won a bunch of games.
Did he say possible re-sign, though, after they cut him? Didn't he say that?
Yeah, like
Maybe a
redo his
lesser
deal. And Christian Kirk Cousins might end up just picking a different team. Like there might just be another team up there at the top that wants him.
He's going to be a Steelers quarterback.
Got it.
It's a great question, Jage.
I mean, it took me a lot to not say the other one.
Yeah.
But
Obviously.
hey,
they all go
growth.
together there at the same time. The Steelers, fascinating. Will Howard.
Bill Hard.
We've seen Will. Will's good. I liked Will. Will's big. Will's got moxie. Will's got a lot of celebrations with teammates. Will could have crumbled. Will didn't. Like, I like Will Howard, the cut of Will Howard's jib, I think. I don't know how he is throwing an NFL ball. I don't know how he is with an offense. I don't know any of that shit. But I just know that Will Howard as quarterback feels like a guy that could be the guy.